Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about the Hollywood industry apocalypse and AI and people being put out of work and all of that fun stuff. And it's very fitting that at the center of the controversy is Tom Hanks, because I always use Tom Hanks AI images to represent Hollywood. It's like, oh my God, look what Clownfish did now. They made it true. Yeah, Tom Hanks is going all in on AI.
Are we surprised though after Polar Express and all that?
No,
are we
not
really
at
surprised?
all.
I mean, he seems to want to embrace that kind of technology. He seems the type he would sell his likeness to have, so his family have money and he could star in everything. Forever.
Yeah, I joked about that too. Remember, we had the conversation when we said, what is going to eventually happen is that we're going to have A-list celebrities, because we have James Earl Jones. He sold his voice before he died for Darth Vader. Mm-hmm. And if you want to have Tom Hanks in movies forever, then the family of Tom Hanks sells his likeness. Or you can have aging actors be de-aged, which is what's going on now. So you can have somebody in their 80s playing somebody in their 40s, kind of like they did with Harrison Ford.
To Lisa Kudrow's point, it's like, but then you could just hire people in the right age range, and so basically it's taking jobs away from other people who might have had a job, de-aged celebrity that was a big name.
Yeah, but to be honest, I would have rather have had a de-aged Harrison Ford in Solo than.
Well, yeah, in a situation like that,
yeah.
but like this movie, it wasn't necessary really.
Not really. I think they just wanted to see what they could do. So,
well, I think it was because they were in Forrest Gump was the whole thing.
Yes. So let's talk about this, because we're going to talk about the animation industry being at a crossroads right now with AI, because there are more and more tools coming out. In fact, one of the AI video generation software tools now allows you to upload assets to stay consistent. And that was one of the big things. People are like, well, it's not consistent from shot to shot, the video generation. And it's like, oh, no, now it will be.
But to be fair, when they did the She-Ra animation, the size of She-Ra wasn't consistent shot to shot either. And that was animated.
And that was on the storyboard already.
Yeah.
My understanding. But a lot of people in Hollywood having an existential crisis now, animators having an existential crisis. This article, the sitcom writer turned into a psychologist because he has to deal with the industry apocalypse and the fallout and the truth that some people just are not going to make the cut for the next phase of Hollywood, because Tom Hanks is going to be in everything.
Pretty much.
So let's talk about this before we get into it any further. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You get woohoo if you do.
Woohoo.
Go out to clownfish-com, help support the reef, buy some merchandise, support us through the Plus Club. You can also do that at clownfishtv.locals.com. So yeah, we'll start with the Tom Hanks, Lisa Kudrow news here. This is coming from the New York Post. Lisa Kudrow blasts Tom Hanks de-aging movie Here. Actually, people are blasting it because it's not very good, I've heard. As endorsement for AI, what work will there be for human beings? I don't know. She doesn't have to ever work again because she gets Friends residuals forever. But yeah, he looks young. This is like bosom buddies era Tom Hanks.
Well, there's a lot for both these actors. There's a lot of, films and things they could go by to de-age them with. Yeah,
and I mean, really, if you're an actor and the technology is there, because eventually you get to a place where you're not the hotness anymore, right? You're over the hill. And you're not going to get the roles you used to get if you're used to being like a young action star or a starlet, and especially women. I mean, women get hit pretty hard with unemployment. Like as soon as you're not super attractive anymore, if that was your brand, then you get relegated to like playing grandmothers in Hallmark movies or something, right? So
pretty much
technology was there to be able to de-age yourself and be like, yeah, I can be 25 forever and I can get roles forever. Why the hell not?
But I mean, the flip side is I understand why not give somebody else a chance, also.
Yeah, well,
I get what she's saying.
That's going to happen with voice actors too, and we talked about this, and that's going to go along with the animation. Is that if you've got the rights to Casey Kasem's voice forever, you don't need another Shaggy ever, because you can just AI Casey Kasem, and it's getting really good. Some of the podcast software they have out there, it actually has a lot of because it was like too perfect, and now it's not perfect. It actually has the voices doing and on, whatever. For all you know, we're AI. For all you know, we're not real. Wouldn't that be a plot twist? Kneon died on the way back to his home planet years ago. Anyway, okay.
Sorry.
I programmed her to say that on repeat. They shot it. They could actually shoot the scene and then look at the playback of them as younger, and it's ready for them to see. That's interesting. Kudrow criticized the movie on Dax Shepard's podcast, Armchair Expert. Yeah, it's here. And I think it's supposed to be like just like one room of a house, and it's like their entire life through the living room of this house or something, which
Well, that sounds
good.
boring.
Yeah.
Were you going to say it was interesting? I think it sounds boring.
It's an interesting...
It's cheap.
It is. It reminds me of like a play.
Yeah, kind of.
Like,
yeah.
Like we don't have, but you know, I imagine 2 hours of that would be kind of boring.
Are there caskets in the room at the end?
I don't know. All I got from that was, is this an endorsement for AI? Yeah. It's not like, oh, it's going to ruin everything, but what will be left? Forget actors. What about up and coming actors? They'll just be licensing and recycling.
And to her point, I don't disagree.
She's accurate. I mean, she's speaking the truth. I mean, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. This is the thing. We keep telling people this when we talk about AI, like you're not even allowed to discuss it intelligently. You can't discuss it and say, yes, it's going to do this, but it's also going to do this. Mm-hmm. But the truth is, a lot of people are going to be out of work. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's the unfortunate truth. But for other people, it's going to be an extension of their careers. Or
if you're already a big celebrity.
If you're already a big celebrity, yeah. And, you know, a guy like Tom Hanks, yeah, if he can act into his 80s and look like he's 35 forever, he's going to do it. They're all going to do it. All these older, established actors are going to jump on the AI train because they have nothing to lose. Because eventually you get to a point where it's like, well, we can't have Tom Hanks playing dad anymore. He has to be playing grandpa. And you can only watch so many old Tom Hanks, movies until it's like, yeah, this is lame. So yeah, she said, set that completely aside. What work is there going to be for human beings? Then what? Kudrow asked. There'll be some kind of living stipend for people. You won't have to work. How can it possibly be enough? The same people criticizing AI, a lot of them love communism. So yeah, there you go. It's communism. Robots will do everything. We'll get a stipend. I mean, it beats the alternative, just, grinding us up for fuel or food for the robots.
Oh, boy.
At least we're still around, right? But I mean, I ain't gonna be no robot fuel. I've seen clips from this movie, and he looks really good. I'm gonna be honest. Like, they look good.
Well, just there, she looks good too. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't look fake to me. I mean, I'm sure if you squint enough, you can. But compared to where this technology, the de-aging technology, was even a few years ago, like those early Marvel movies and the Star Wars movies, especially like Leia in Rogue One, which totally took me out of it because she looked like a cutscene from a video game. And going back to Tron Legacy, which is I think the first time that Disney used it, and it looked really fake, but you could get away with it because you were dealing with video game characters, right? So it's kind of like, yeah, they look fake. It's not a big deal. But no, he doesn't look fake at all. It's like, oh my God, it looks like they shot or they found lost Tom Hanks footage from like the early 80s, and this is what they went with. And
well, there she looks fake.
Yeah, a little, yeah, up close, yeah. But
it's like a video game.
It does. Like I said, you got to kind of like, if you sit about like 20 feet away from the TV and it's in 720p and, but it's going to get better. That's what I'm saying. It's going to get better. And this is the new reality. We're going to have actors who are established, who are bankable. That's what the studios are going to look at. Tom Hanks is bankable. And we can have Tom Hanks and Harrison Ford forever. And after they die, we can still have them. Mm-hmm. And then we just insert, the Harrison Ford. But I guarantee you, Harrison Ford and Tom Hanks are going to sell their likenesses to studios. And they'll be making Tom Hanks movies in 2121 or something, the new Tom Hanks 3D, whatever.
Side note, I think I've seen that Santa Claus in the background, the light up one. It's at the antique store a few times.
You probably have. Actually, I wonder how much of this stuff is legit. Like, was it actually there, or they like deep fake a lot of the?
Well, I probably have some of the ornaments in the tree. Anyway, continue.
You probably do. You have a lot of vintage. Our daughter's really into vintage Christmas. So anyway, this is leading to the existential crisis. This guy here, a sitcom writer turned psychologist, counsels Hollywood workers on the industry apocalypse.
Probably makes more money as a psychologist.
Yeah, he probably does. He said he had to start. He actually became a psychologist in the 2008, the recession, and it forced a lot of people.
I give people credit for that. Like anybody who was able to pivot like that in his 40s and stuff like that because of things that happened, I give full credit to those people because that's not easy, and they at least can acknowledge that hey, maybe this isn't as secure as I thought, so let me go do something else I've always wanted to do, or let me do something else that's more secure. And I always think that's always something we should be lauded. Just saying.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. So this is interesting. He said he has I literally just talked about this in a video the other day, and a lot of people, they shit on us because we try to tell them where things are actually at right now.
Tell them where the bear shits in the woods, and they get mad about it.
And instead, they just go out and they have a mental breakdown. They make like 19 videos about how wrong we are, but usually we wind up being right. He said he has a message for Hollywood workers battling their own anxieties, dealing with the entertainment industry apocalypse. He's calling it the entertainment industry apocalypse.
Told you guys this was coming. We told you this was going to happen.
So there's no going back. Time is just a conveyor belt that constantly moves into the future. And secondly, Hollywood workers today need to be prepared to leave.
Yes.
To leave.
Yes, guys, this is what we told you. And everybody's like, so mad at us that we probably never get an invite to the WGA or the SAG-AFTRA or whatever because of it. But what we said was going to happen, happened. You want all these things, you want demands, and those that get to stay will get the better pay, the better, the better deal. But most of you are not going to have a job after that. And that is exactly what happened. And the same thing's going to happen to animation too. I'm sorry. I don't want to also sugarcoat it to make you like it better, but the truth's the truth.
That's what this guy's basically doing. And I thought it was really interesting. He is coaching people on basically acting like a life coach and being like, you're going to be outsourced. Hollywood is being outsourced. Mm-hmm. Your job is going to be replaced with AI. You're not going to be working on a show like Seinfeld or Friends is going to have residuals until you retire. You're going to have to figure out something else to do with your life. Right. Yeah,
he said he counseled that it's okay for those holding on to it and holding on in Hollywood to admit they don't have all the answers right now, and that their anxiety and paralysis are not misplaced or wrong to feel. No, you're not wrong to be upset by it, but we're telling you, we've been warning you, and you've had more than a year you could have done something, and
multiple years.
We told you this was going to happen, and you're all too busy being mad at us for for pointing out the reality, but that doesn't change the reality.
Yeah, so here's the reality. The hardest hit workers in Hollywood, in my opinion, based on what I have seen from AI, will be the animation industry.
I agree.
For a number of reasons. One, animation, it's not something that you have to be in LA to do. And we're seeing more and more studios move production out of California completely, send it overseas, outsource it someplace, Canada, wherever. And they're not going to play ball, especially if a lot of these animated properties do not bring in the amounts of revenue that they want. Now, yeah, you get Inside Out too, but there's like one Inside Out too.
I think VFX workers and I think pre-production people and I think like storyboard artists and things like that are going to also get hit very hard across the board.
Well, yeah, because if you look at the tools that are available now.
And voice actors too.
And voice actors. The tools that are available now, you can, from prompts, generate all kinds of pre-production work. I mean, you might have to tweak it a little bit, but hey, you want a spaceship design, you want a, concept art of what would it look like if we had, a dinosaur in a, techno-organic setting or something. And okay, this is a good base. Now, I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm not saying it doesn't require any human effort at all. I think humans are going to have to be very involved in it, but it's going to require fewer humans to do the job.
We were saying that back when the strike started, that I thought we reached max, with Hollywood, with all the projects they had greenlit and stuff, and that there's so much content. I actually have to say, I have to wonder if we're not going to go the way of the original, like the gaming back in like the late 70s, early 80s, where everybody was making knockoff games of everything. And it was, so many games that they were just lame and they ended up in landfills. Because now with this stuff, anybody can make the same thing, can make content.
Yeah.
So we're going to have so much content that I wonder if it's just going to end up like
a glut.
Yeah. If it's, it's going to end up just like, everything's going to implode, and then it's just going to go back to, only there's going to be a few new things. You know what I mean? Because if AI is open to everyone, I think some people who might not normally get a chance are going to bring out this amazing stuff, indie stuff that's phenomenal and groundbreaking, and I'm hoping we go back to originality with it. but I also think that we're going to have a glut. So
Yeah, and what could theoretically happen and what will probably happen eventually is that people will just fire up, a movie or a TV show a la carte.
yeah, or they're just going to go back to watching the stuff that, was
The stuff they
curated
love.
in the older stuff. Yeah.
Right. They're going to go back to watching, and people are doing it already. They're going back to watching old, reruns of network TV. They're going back watching old movies. They're playing old video games. And we might have an era where there is a glut like YouTube where, early on, especially YouTube, it was like whatever shit you could throw on YouTube, people were throwing it on YouTube, and some of it stuck and some of it didn't.
Right. But I think that's what we're going to have. We're going to have it like, across the board. It's going to be on YouTube. It's going to be on other platforms too. I just think there's going to be a lot of content created because everybody can create it now. And that doesn't mean it's all going to be good.
No.
Clearly not.
And there does need to be human involvement. But what we're saying and what we've been saying is that there's going to be significantly less human involvement necessary. And looking at the prompt to video tools that are out there now, I could see them very easily just being like, yeah, we're going to have this generate character designs. We're going to input the models. And then instead of having 100 people animate this scene, we're going to have, 2 or 3 people work with what the AI spits out.
But I do think that Hollywood in general, AI is not going anywhere. Studios are going to make sure it saves them too much money. But the flip side of that is anybody can make stuff and compete with them too. So that's the flip side. But I do think
And they don't like that.
No.
That's what this, look, at the end of the day, that's what this is about, because it's fear. It's fear that they're going to be made obsolete. And the weird thing is a lot of people, especially in the animation scene right now, that are, attacking AI, a lot of these people were the same people that were like, hey, you geriatric fogies who are still doing 2D animation, get out of the way and let us, let us kids in here. You're a relic. And
now everybody wants it to go back to 2D animation, and they don't have the people to do it.
Yeah.
But I think Hollywood's going to make its own competition too, because if they're accepting AI, anybody can use AI, and I think we're going to get some really creative things come out. That's not by Hollywood because they're too scared to be creative anymore. And so we might go back to creativity at some point. But back to the guy that's a therapist, I think that he's right in the fact that if you are in Hollywood now and you're upset and you're scared and worried, which is valid, I mean, I don't blame you.
Yeah.
I would definitely look into see if there's something else you wanted to do, and I'd get on that.
Yeah, I mean, it's never too late. And I think what's going to happen is that other career fields will open up. Like, it's not like the machines can do everything, but I think there's going to be more of a demand for physical labor, for people that can actually do stuff in the real world and actually know how to do stuff. God knows it's almost impossible to find a good contractor now. Because nobody, just like South Park said.
Oh, yeah, you can't find anybody knows how to do shit. Yeah,
nobody knows how to do shit anymore. So, yeah, if you can learn how to. Yeah, she's actually pretty good. If you learn how to do shit and you have marketable do shit skills, you'll be fine. But a lot of these people, I'm going to be honest, the attitude is, I'm better than that. I'm better than being a plumber.
Yeah, but if you're one of the people that work on set that do that kind of stuff, that do like the work, like the building and all that, man, you guys make bank and other in the out in the
absolutely.
Real world, basically. So.
But again, you can't swing a dead cat without hitting the storyboard artist, right, Geeky?
Right.
So you guys, you're gonna have to rethink your career paths a little bit. Anyway, yeah, it's kind of interesting though. Just side note, regarding this Animation Guild vote that I think is through the 22nd.
Okay.
Most of the people in Blue Sky are saying not to vote for it because of the AI.
Because and look, I get where they're coming from. I just don't think you're going to avoid it, because even if they don't put it in the or they say they're not going to do it, I think they're going to find a way out and do it anyway. What?
Okay, so I'm looking at the comments. This is on Blue Sky. Okay, it's open if you're a guild member vote. Okay, gotcha.
Got it. Okay.
A lot of people are like, yeah, don't vote for this because of AI. This person here. Can someone give me a link to vote? If you're in the Animation Guild, you should already have received a personalized link in your email. I was trying to sign up, but where are the social security digits? That's your social security number. Wait, I think I need to find my social security number. This person's like, you have to be a dues-paying member to vote. This isn't a public poll. Oh, I don't have any money. It's not something you can simply subscribe to like Patreon or Twitch. It's workers' rights union similar to the UAW. Oh. It's not a public poll.
Well, it's probably a kid.
Oh my God.
It's probably a kid.
Oh my God. Blue Sky, we're all the geniuses.
It might be a kid, honestly, but You know, it probably isn't. That's the
Probably
thing.
isn't.
It
It's probably
probably
like a
isn't.
32-year-old man or something.
Gosh. Anyway, we're gonna wrap this up.
Let's wrap this up, guys. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.